My name is Aldel Garza. I'm the CEO for Harlingen Economic Development Corporation. Today is part of National Economic Development Week. That's part of a celebration that the International Economic Development Council is pushing in terms of trying to raise awareness of some of the things that happen in the economic development world. And so today we're going to highlight a little bit about some of our assets here in Harlingen. And with us today is Walker Smith. He is the director at the Port of Harlingen. Walker, how are you?
Doing good, doing good. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, I know that there's a port here in Harlingen, but there's a lot of people who don't. And so I'm going to allow you to kind of talk a little bit about the port, what you all do out there, what kind of commodities you're shipping in and out of here in Harlingen. And then we'll talk a little bit after that about, what this new world is looking like in terms of what kind of impact the COVID-19 issue has had on you and on your business. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the port?
Sure, sure. Well, first of all, I appreciate you guys highlighting the Port of Harlingen. As you, as you know, we are a not a well-known commodity here in the Rio Grande Valley, an asset to the Rio Grande Valley. One of the Sometimes one of the first questions I ask whenever I do presentations is, how many of you know about the Port of Harlingen? And very, very few people raise their hands, which is surprising to me, to be honest with you, with the asset that we are, and the economic engine that we are for the Rio Grande Valley. So appreciate the opportunity to be able to highlight some of the things that we do here at the port for the citizens and people of the Rio Grande Valley. So first of all, Port of Harlingen, we are a shallow water draft port here in between Harlingen and Rio Hondo, Texas, along the Arroyo, Colorado. So I'm gonna got a little PowerPoint presentation for y'all, some snapshot of some of the things that we do here at the port, and a little bit about us, and we'll go through those here. Let me share my screen real quick with y'all. Are you able to see that?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Well, here we go. So a little bit about the Port of Harlingen here. Technical difficulties. There we go. There we go. Okay. So a little bit about the port at a glance. The Port of Harlingen was created in 1926 by the Texas legislature, but we didn't necessarily begin operations right then. There was a lot of things that went into establishing and creating operations here at the port, land acquisitions, dredging the channel for navigation, and vice versa. And so we began operations 67 years ago. So we've been here a long time, and very well established down here in the Rio Grande Valley. The Port of Harlingen is governed by a board of 3 commissioners, and they are all elected. They're elected to 6-year terms, and they are the ones that help develop policy and guide the direction of the port as far as growth and what we do here. So as far as infrastructure is concerned, we have 5 docks here. Most of them are liquid cargo docks, but we do have 750 feet of dry bulk wharf. We can do break bulk. We can do just dry bulk cargo as well. We have 2,000 acres of land. Majority of that is taken up by what we call DMPAs, disposal material placement areas. That's where the material that we take out of the Arroyo, Colorado, when it's dredged for maintenance or maintenance dredged for navigation, that's where we put the material to be able to have a disposal site for those. Last year we've been setting record numbers here over the last couple of years, and last year we did 541 vessel calls. So we had a bumper year, so to speak, for our barge cargo coming in and out of the port.
So typically, how many barges are coming in on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, we generally average about three barges per day, mostly liquid cargo, but on average about three barges per day. Sometimes they come in different numbers. You know, we'll have actually what I'll say is we'll have three vessel calls per day, meaning, you know, as a tow brings in, it may be a set of barges, three barges at a time, six barges at a time. So vessel calls is a better way to say that. And so it's we could average anywhere from 3 to 6 barges per day.
And the type of commodities that are coming in include fuel and fertilizers and what else?
Yes, sir. Fuels, fertilizers, liquid fertilizers. We have also sand aggregates or aggregates for construction for the development of concrete. We also have grain commodities coming in and out of the port as well. Sugar is a big export for us here at the Port of Harlingen as well.
So during the cotton season, I guess cotton is going out as well.
Yes, cotton's going out as well. It doesn't go out by barge yet, but it does go out by truck coming out of the port. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what do you see, or what are some of the improvements that you guys have been making around the port right now?
So we've been fortunate to have significant growth over the last 3 years here at the port, and we have, in realizing the need for, you know, sort of a playbook on how we're going to go about growing and adding infrastructure and adding improvements to the Port of Harlingen to be able to take advantage of some of these business opportunities. We completed a master plan last year, strategic master plan that's kind of our playbook for the next 10, 15 years to help us take advantage of that growth and grow efficiently. So some of the things that we've identified our needs are expanding our turning basin and along with that, expanding our bulkhead and dock space to be able to access the land that we have along the Arroyo. We're going to be looking at expanding fleeting areas, putting in new fleeting areas along the Arroyo, Colorado. It's not a very wide channel, and so you can't have barges passing. There aren't passing lanes in the Arroyo, Colorado. So if you can make sure you have areas where those vessels can get off to the side and allow other vessels to pass, it makes for a much more efficient traffic control on the Arroyo, Colorado. We're going to be looking at doing some rail improvements. We've got a pretty aggressive and major rail improvement identified here at the Port of Harlingen, and we're going to be looking at getting that rolling pretty quick. We've been in operation for 67 years, so a lot of our infrastructure is old and aged and worn down, and so we've got a pretty aggressive maintenance program that we've kicked off this year to improve upon our infrastructure that we have. For instance, we were lucky enough to be able to get a TxDOT Rider 45 grant to be able to improve upon our roads here in the port. It's a $7.8 million job. Essentially what we did is we took all of our roads that were asphalt and noticing what we were going to have an increased heavyweight traffic and what we had been seeing already, we knew that we were going to need to improve our road infrastructure. And so we put in $7.8 million worth of concrete roads and queuing areas here in the Port of Harlingen. Here pretty soon, we're going to announce that we were the award of another TxDOT grant to continue to improve on our roads and expand our roads, expand some of our land that we have identified for growth. That's another $7 million road project. Also helping with queuing and getting the trucks that come to the Port of Harlingen off of the road and out of the way, creating a more efficient traffic control around the port, as well as lay down yards to be able to take advantage of, projects like, you know, pipeline projects or container on barge type projects and stuff like that.
Sure. Well, one of the things I noticed, I mean, the roads look great. You go out to the port and you know that those roads are going to be there for a long time. So that's a solid investment. Um, and there's a lot of truck traffic obviously coming in and out of the port, but people may not realize why barges are such a great deal in terms of transportation. Can you tell us a little bit about, how much those barges actually bring in versus, how many trucks it would take to equal a barge and that type of thing?
Absolutely. So I've got a pretty little slide that shows a little bit about that here. So this is a great slide that USDOT Maritime Administration has put together for us, and kind of shows a little bit on average what one barge takes off of the road and what that benefit of that barge is, which, it relieves congestion on the roads. As you can see from this slide, one barge can remove on average 70 tractor trailer trucks, large semis, off of the road, and 16 rail cars off of those rail crossings that you get frustrated at all the time because they cross at the wrong time of the day. And trying to get your kids to school, or you're trying to, get home from work, they cross at that time of day. But it definitely, removing all of those trucks and rail cars from the transportation system, it also improves the environment. Versus, it's a greener mode of transportation versus the other two. Enhances safety. You don't have the wrecks and the dangers of having all of those trucks on the roads.
Sure.
More directly for the Port of Harlingen, we did 541 vessel calls last year. If we look at that in terms of barges, and we look at that in terms of for instance, the diesel trucks that we have here at the Port of Harlingen that we're exporting to Mexico, and the amount of the volume that they haul and the volume that the barges bring in, if that fuel was brought to the Port of Harlingen by semi or by truck, that would be a little over 37,000 trucks added to our system here in the Rio Grande Valley. So, those 541, like I said, if we're looking at it in terms of barges, those 541 barges that came into the Port of Harlingen removed 37,000 trucks off of our road system. And, we look at it in terms of greener energy. We look at it in terms of safety. We don't have the wrecks and congestion and stuff like that on the roadways because of those barges coming into the port.
Yeah. So COVID-19 is a big deal right now. Obviously, a lot of businesses have shut down. Some of them are getting open again, which is great for our economy. But we're hoping they do it safely. Obviously, it's had an impact on industry. But what kind of response or impact have you guys been seeing there at the port?
As far as impact, we honestly haven't seen any decline in imports or exports here at the port. Honestly, we've somewhat seen an increase in our fuel trucks going in and out of and barges coming in and out. The refineries, they're running out of storage capacity, and so they need to get that fuel out of those tanks, and so they're being a little more aggressive with delivering product to the tenants that are here in the port, and we're still moving the trucks and moving the barges and rail cars as before. There's a little bit of an impact. There's definitely an impact, obviously, in safety. You see everybody walking around and operating their operations with face masks and obviously maintaining their social distancing and wearing gloves and wearing their particular PPEs, personal protective equipment through all of this, which is a new normal that we're going to have to maintain over for the foreseeable future for sure. But
Sure.
as far as operations here at the port and in my office, my my staff is working from home, and the only ones that are really in the office are myself and my operations guy, which we need the operations guy around to make sure everything runs smoothly. But we're making sure that we have the correct protective equipment as we manage through this time.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've been doing the same thing. We worked out of the home for a long time, and we get to a point where we need to get back into our office to do certain things that are essential and to keep small businesses and other businesses operating. So we're kind of in the same boat. We've been busier, and I think that that's a good sign for us, and that should be a good sign for you all too.
Absolutely, yeah. We're fortunately business has been strong here at the port, and even in talking to some of the tenants, they don't see a slowdown. The sand aggregate that we receive for the ready mix guys, they're blowing and going, and they're breaking records as we speak right now, and have already halfway through this fiscal year have already broke. Exceeded what they brought in last year because of the wind turbines that are going up around the area, need the concrete for the foundations. And so their business has increased. The fuel business has increased. The sugar's already been processed, and it still has to get to the processor. And so it's going out as normal. I would say the only thing that we've seen a decline in, that doesn't have anything to do with the COVID-19 situation, is fertilizer because of the drought that we're experiencing right now. But as far as the effects of COVID-19 on our operations and on our business, it's been very, very minimal.
Well, good. Well, anything else you'd like to add on as far as what's going on at the Port of Harlingen?
No, I think we pretty well covered everything that we want to touch base on. Our phone lines are open. Doors are not open right now. We're closed to the public, obviously, but once we get through this COVID-19 situation, we'd be glad to host you and have people come out and take a look at what we've got going on out here at the Port of Harlingen and see the good things that we're doing for the Rio Grande Valley and the area, and more good things to come in the future with the growth that we're experiencing, the success that we're having.
Sounds great. Well, thank you, Walker, for your time. Thank you for allowing us to record you and share this information with others. So
absolutely. We thank you guys for highlighting the Port of Harlingen. We always think your support for the area, for Harlingen business, and for the Port of Harlingen does not go unnoticed. So we appreciate you all there at the EDC.
all right. Have a good day.
You do the same.